All right, everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Sunset Key drawing set, and specifically, we're going to take a look at A105, which is going to be called sections. So, as we take a look at our sheets, we just finished up our furniture plan. Furniture plan should be fairly easy. We just want to show what kind of furniture we put in and how this would be arranged in our particular floor plan. So I'm going to go down here. Notice there's our furniture plan. I'm going to go ahead and click the little minus sign there to collapse that. And I'm going to right click on sheets all, and we're going to add a new sheet into this. Again, just making sure we're set on the B 11 by 17 horizontal. Select OK. And I'm going to go ahead and right click and rename this on the drawing name. This one here is going to be called sections, and I'm going to select OK. So what we're going to do is actually I'm going to have you go back up here to the first floor plan. Open this up. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a wall section to be able to detail some of the construction of our particular building. So up here on the View tab, I'm going to click on Section. Okay. In the type, we have either a detail section, or we have a building section, or a wall section. So I'm going to choose the type to be a wall section. And then my cursor has the little, it changes to where we're going to like draw a line. So actually where I'm going to put this is going to be, I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line that goes through this wall. Okay. Now here's what may go through and happen is that I am going to go through and see, like, there are different types of wall sections that we can do and that we can turn around. So you can see that I started on the inside of this wall, and you can see where the little symbol is. I'm actually going to go ahead and change that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, or you can right click and say cancel. Let me select this and hit delete. It says that section 1 is going to be deleted. So if you mess up, that's okay. And we can go through and we can always delete that and start over. So I'm going to go ahead and click on section. I'm going to start inside of the house. I'm going to go ahead and click, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw a line to go through the house. Now, you're going to see this little blue, so now that symbol kind of shows up on the inside of the home, which is kind of what we're looking for in terms of that. I think it's going to be easier to locate, mainly with the dimensions around, so we're not going to have anything running in the dimensions that way. So what we're going to do is you're going to see there's a couple double arrows to flip the section, and then you're going to see this little blue dashed box there, and this is going to show you like what are we seeing of this particular scenario. The other thing I can do is I can kind of move this, so I will go through and kind of move it a little bit, so then that way it's not really, there we go. And you can even like grab these little blue grips and kind of shorten those. So I kind of like where the end point of this is, but you know, if you want to shorten this a little bit so that way it doesn't run so far into some other things. So right now, here's what the cutaway is going to see, is anything that's inside of this part. Okay. Now, part of this window is caught inside of there, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like. So if I go to my project browser and scroll down, I'll see a new section here called Sections, Wall Section. If I click the plus sign, here's section 1. I'm going to double left click on section 1. So here's what I'm going to see. That box, let me go ahead and open this up just a little bit. I want to see the outside edge of our house. So this is your crop region. And for our particular section view, I'm going to go ahead, you can see here's some of the like topo solid there and things like that. So, and if I change my view type to shaded or even realistic in this case, you're going to go through and see some of these particular items. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to do once this loads is I'm going to open this up just a little bit more, so then that way we can see a little bit more of the section. Now in the section view, I'm going to go ahead and drag this up because so I don't need to see the topo solid, so I'm going to go ahead and drag it up there. But here's the other thing too, is I can use visibility graphics, VV. I'm going to turn off in this particular view. I don't need to see the furniture. So you're going to see that disappear. I don't need to see the generic models. That's the sofa that's kind of hanging out there. And the other part of this is that I don't need to see the topo solid. So again, we're just focusing on the construction of the building. So you'll see the topo solid kind of disappear, and that'll be what happens. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Now, a few things, and even then you may see like I've got a little thing here. It looks like my studio light is kind of going away. So that's in light fixtures. Lighting fixtures, we don't need that, so you'll see that disappear. So, and then the other thing too is I can drag this crop window down just a little bit, so then that way it's not so tall. All right, a few things about the section view is let's go ahead and I'm going to change the level of detail. And right now it's set to coarse. Let's change that to fine. Okay. When you change that to fine, is now you're going to be able to see the different layers that show up for your floor and for your walls and everything like that. So the other thing too is you're going to notice that there's a little piece of like a window that's sticking out as well. So the thing is I don't really want to see that. So if I go back to my floor plan, if I select my section view indicator, let's go ahead and drag this line so that way that it's not going to see the window at all. And another way you can get to, and even then I can drag this down just a little bit, and I'm going to right click on this line when I have it, and I can just say go to view from this right click menu, and that'll take me there. So now I don't see that little piece sticking out because the window is not in our view range. Okay, so I am going to change this over to shaded. I think shaded does go through and give you a little bit less, you know, kind of drastic colors and stuff like that. And then the crop region down here is on. So I'm going to go ahead and choose hide crop region, so that way I don't have that going. Okay. All right, a few pieces that we're going to go through and do is in this section view, we're going to start to label some things that we have going on. But before we do that, we need to add some what they call detail components. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go to the annotate tab, and you're going to see, and your menu may look a little bit different, but you'll see in the detail panel there's component. Now this is a little bit different, and I'll show you with this menu. This is a little different than a regular component. And in fact, if you try to load a detail component through component, Revit is not going to let you, and vice versa. So like you can't load a couch or a bed or anything through this option. So I'm going to go ahead and choose detail component, and I'm going to go ahead and select load family. And what we're going to load through the Imperial Library, so here's the Imperial Library when it shows up, is we're going to go into detail items. And the very first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at wood and plastic. This is division 6. And what we're going to take a look at is wood framing. And here, if you do a single click, they're going to show you like nominal cut lumber sections. So this is the end of like a 2x4 that's been cut off, which is what we're going to go through and represent. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that option and select open. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in right now, this is for our flooring is a 2x10. So I'm going to scroll down, find 2x10. I'm going to go ahead and select that one. And then the other one I'm going to also take a look at is let's grab a 2x6. So I'm going to hold control on my keyboard, select 2x6, and I want to select 2x4. And the other one that we might want to grab too is a 2x8. So that'll be probably for our roofing. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those 4, and I'm going to select OK to load all those in. Okay, so here's what's going to happen is I'm going to take a look at, so I need to put the end of a board. So I'm going to go over here to my type selector, and I want to use a 2x10. And you're going to see that this is what you see on the end. And what's going to happen is I'm going to put my cursor so then that way that it's going to snap, the edge of this is going to snap right up against the edge of this plywood sheathing. So this is representing the end of our floor. So I'm going to go ahead and click, and it's going to place that part in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change this down to a 2x4. So for a 2x4, this is going to be, let's see here, actually nominal cut lumber section. So if you have different ones, you'll notice there's lumber for side and top. Make sure it says nominal cut lumber section, 2x4. There we go. And if I press the space bar, I can go through and rotate this down. So I'm going to put one of these down here at the bottom. This is going to represent what they call the sole plate for the wall. And then I'm going to go up here at the very top, right above our top of our wall, right where it hits the roof line. I'm going to put 2 of these stacked on top of each other, and that's called a double top plate. So we'll talk more about that in wood framing when we get to that point. But I want to show you at least what that particular thing is doing. So these are detail components for us to be able to label and be able to tell what kind of what kind of construction that we're doing in this case. Okay. While we're here on detail components, you're going to see there's insulation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on insulation. Over here on your type, it's going to say the insulation width is set to 3.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll in at the very top on this top plate. I'm going to put right in the middle. You should see a little triangle. It's called the midpoint. I'm going to click, and I'm going to put insulation here on the wall. So I'm going to go all the way from top all the way to the bottom. And again, I'm going to put my cursor where I see that little midpoint, and I'm going to click, and that's going to put the insulation into the wall for me. Okay, so it's a little detailing that we're going to have happen. All right. So the other thing too is you're going to see we're going to have something called the right here at the ceiling. So I'm going to go ahead and click and grab component, detail component. I'm going to load the family. What we're looking for is, and you're going to notice wood framing is going to show up, is we're going to go with nominal cut lumber top, and you're going to see it's kind of showing the main face here, so which would be the largest side. So I'm going to go ahead and say open. And this one we're going to grab, we're going to put in a 2x6, and I'm going to select OK. So now, if it's already loaded, or if you don't really see anything change, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find that nominal cut lumber top, and I'm going to choose 2x6. And what this is we're going to have to draw this in. So right above, right at the ceiling line, I'm going to put my cursor. So right here's the line for the ceiling line, and I'm going to put where it intersects right with the wall. And I'm going to go ahead and draw in this ceiling joist. Now, as soon as you go past the view, the crop view, you're going to see it kind of disappear. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw it out until it kind of disappears like that, because that's going to represent that we've got some ceiling joists, and it actually extends beyond that. Okay. Now with this, I'm going to go ahead and draw, I'm going to put in insulation. So if you missed that, again, I'm just going to, once I get done, cancel, find my insulation command in the detail panel. And over here on the left side in the properties, we need to actually bump that up to 5.5 inches. So again, keep your cursor in the box, click apply, and then where this is going to be is if I click right here in the midpoint, then I can draw in my insulation. And again, I'm going to go until it goes past. So there's the insulation. So it's ceiling joist, and there's insulation between those to be able to show that in our home design. All right, so that is a lot dealing with getting detail components brought in, and again, just showing you those capabilities to detail some of the construction items. At this point, so just looking at the time in the video, I'm going to stop, and then that way we can go ahead and do in the second part, talk about the labeling and adding in our interior elevations to the drawing. So go ahead and you can go ahead and take a look at the next video where we'll actually put in the labels, and we'll probably do that on the drawing sheet to be able to make that happen.